Hello! I'm Dr. Della Parker, and we've got our crew of stellar mommies with us. I'm going to introduce them in a second, but have you ever wondered what the heck is the keto diet? What the heck is a fat bomb? All these weird things. We're going to tell you quick and dirty what that's all about so you can understand this terminology and you can be using it properly. So we have got massage therapist Yvonne, we've got our nutritionist Amy, and we've got Dr. Hurst, chiropractor at Stellar Health and Wellness. So you can find us at stellarhw.com. All our links to social media and all that. Check out our blog. It's awesome. But yeah, let's get started. So Amy's our nutritionist. You work with keto diet a lot.
I do.
What is the keto diet?
So the ketogenic diet is basically just a way of limiting your macronutrient intake so that you can put your body into a state of ketosis and burn fat at a different rate than you would with other weight loss opportunities.
So you're burning fat.
You're burning
instead
fat.
of carbs and sugar.
Right.
So you're losing more weight a lot of the time.
A lot of the time you're losing more weight, and it's not necessarily faster weight loss, but it typically tends to be more targeted weight loss because it's targeted at your fat source. So like one of my favorite ways to explain it is if you think about your body like a fire, when you crumple up newspaper and throw it on the fire, it's going to burn through it really quickly and then you need more. And that's what our body does with carbohydrates. We eat them, we use them, we need more to keep going and have energy. With fat, it's more like putting a log on the fire. So it's burning on its own, it doesn't need a lot of attention, and once you burn through the fat that you fed your body, like with fat bombs and other healthy high-fat foods, your body's smart and it goes, oh, we have some of that, and it naturally taps into your fat stores and begins to burn away with that.
Right, so you're changing your body's metabolism from burning carbs and sugars to transition to be fat burning.
Correct.
And I think I hear a lot of people say like, oh, I'm doing like a ketogenic type diet, and I'm like, oh, you don't even know what you're talking about because you're either in keto or you're not.
Right. Well, and I think that's where the problem is. People think that they can just eat like lots of fat and lots of protein and limit the carbs, and that's just not the case. Too much protein will kick you right out of ketosis as well. So your macronutrients have to be balanced.
Totally.
So
go ahead.
Can you stop and say what are macronutrients? Because I'm sure that there's some of our viewers that don't really know what that means.
Right. So fat, carbs, and protein are the main ones that we look at with the ketogenic diet. We don't necessarily pay attention to calories with ketosis, but also when you're looking at your carbohydrates, you're looking at your carbohydrate intake is primarily coming from vegetables.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're eating high good sources of fat, protein, but not all the protein you want because that can kick your body out of that metabolic way of functioning, and then under 25 carbs usually, is that right?
And there's talk, some people do net carbs, which is total carbs minus fiber, and I just say total carbs, 25 carbs and under total.
Yeah, and I remember I did it for like a brief moment, and it was like, oh, an avocado is 17 carbs, and I was like, what? Like, you don't even think about, or is that net carbs though?
You know what, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was 17 total carbs. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It was a long time ago that I tried that.
You're probably right.
I don't know.
So how long do you have to eat that way to get your body into ketosis? It's not like you eat one meal and you're like, I'm in ketosis.
Right.
Like, how long does it take to get to that process?
So realistically, like you wake up in ketosis every morning. Like as soon as you go an extended period of time without eating, your body begins to spill ketones into your urine. I would say like 3 to 5 days and you're really like into a solid fat burning state, and then more like 2 to 3 months before you're into what's considered fat adaptation phase, which is when your body just understands fat is fuel and it doesn't search for energy anywhere else.
Can you review that? How long for that to happen?
I would say, 3 to 5 months. Yeah, it's a process, and people think like initially you have that like water weight week where you like drop 8 or 10 pounds. You're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, and it kind of sets the standard in your brain. Like I'm going to lose 8 pounds a week. Well, you're not. If you lose 1 to 2 pounds a week in any way, that's healthy and sustainable, and it teaches your brain this takes work. I don't ever want to go back because this was a lot of work.
Yeah, and I think some people actually feel crummy or can get like keto flu, keto rash, like these things as your body is starting to adapt to ketosis.
Yeah.
That sometimes get a lot better and you get through that, and then you're in the fat adaptation, and then your body can sustain it and do really better.
Yeah, I mean, you get tons of energy, mental clarity that comes from that. But the keto flu is a real thing that people get, like, they kind of are like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this anymore because sucks. It's like usually
Yeah.
in the first week when your liver really starts to shed all those toxins, you feel crummy.
Yeah.
But once you get through that like 12 to 36 hour window, you feel amazing. And that's when you're like, okay, I can do this.
I was a total wuss. I did it for like 4 days and I got a keto rash and I was like, out. I'm done. My body's rashing out. I'm good. Yeah. But I don't know.
Well, and we are, our nutritional ketosis program that we do at Stellar is all dairy free. And that can be overwhelming to some people. I think inflammatory wise, it's the best way to go about it is to do a dairy free keto program. But any Pinterest recipe you look up is like all cream cheese and dairy across the board. And so having someone to walk you through how to do a dairy-free protocol is really great.
Yeah, and Amy's also giving you meal plans and like we said, balancing those macros to make sure like you're not getting too much protein to knock you out of like what you're doing, enough fat, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So do you recommend fat bombs to people?
I think fat bombs are a great way to do it. I personally use bulletproof coffee, but if it's on a day that I'm not going to do that.
Would you do bulletproof coffee and a fat bomb? Or
If it fit in your macronutrients.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it would just depend. Some people, like I don't crave sugar, I crave salt. So for me, fat bombs are like, oh, it's fun. But for the person that craves sugar, this is a great way to get kind of a sweet, healthy fat in your system.
So do people need to be doing it without fat bombs for a certain point? Like, do you recommend like the first month, don't do any of these other things and then you can bring them in? Or do some people just start with fat bombs right away?
I recommend not doing anything sweet in the first month to really get that taste out of your system. Anytime you eat sweet, you'll crave sweet. And so you kind of need to get that out of your system and rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same with the coffee then?
I don't know. Because I do MCT oil in coffee instead of
not
coconut.
sweet.
It's not real sweet. It's kind of...
It's not sweet at all.
No, mine is. I don't know. I put cacao powder in mine. Just a little bit.
Just some. She's like, you're not supposed to have any sweet, but I put chocolate in my coffee.
It's cacao. It's not
Cacao. I always laugh because I'm like, is it cocoa, cacao, what?
You sound smarter if you say cacao.
Right. But it's cocoa and cacao are the same thing, right?
Probably. I don't know.
Is it like tomato, or is it actually...
I think it's how it's processed, honestly. And if you know that, please comment and tell us about this and let us know.
Is this like cacao
baking
or cocoa?
Baking cocoa has been processed, and I think cacao is more of the raw, like cacao.
How is cacao spelled? Oh, it's here.
CACAO.
Oh, so this is the best cacao baking cocoa.
So if you're confused with us, maybe you should let us know.
Yes. Another ingredient that we just got figured out is coconut oil. You might be wondering about virgin versus the refined, because those are the two options that you found. So we didn't know either. So I just did a quick Google search and figured it out, the difference. Virgin coconut oil, the smoke point is 350 degrees usually until like the oil can become smoking away and not as beneficial for your body. It also is more nutrient rich though, the virgin coconut oil. But some people get digestive issues from breaking it down. So if you can tolerate it and you are not heating it up too high, the virgin is optimal for nutrition.
Right.
The refined version, you can, the smoke point goes up to 400 degrees, so you can cook at a higher heat before it starts to break down. I guess a little bit less nutrient availability, but people tolerate it better digestively. So there's that. Do you have problems with the virgin? Have you ever?
I don't have trouble with any of it. I mean, MCT oil is another one that can cause like gastric upset.
Oh, yeah. What do they call it? Disaster pants? Too much MCT oil causes disaster pants.
It's a great constipation reliever.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I should start making that a treatment plan.
Some psyllium and MCT oil.
Some glug that stuff and you'll be cleared right up. So we're gonna make some fat bombs just to kind of show you what it is. I've never even had a fat bomb.
Awesome.
Have you guys eaten them before?
Yeah. I have. I've made a couple of different versions. I haven't made this particular version just because I tend to stay away from nut butters. I don't do super well with them. So
what is do you know off the top of your head a recipe that you've used before?
Another recipe that I have used has been coconut oil and butter. And that one had peppermint drops in it, so it kind of tasted like an after dinner type mint flavor, and it was really satisfying. That one I also kept in the freezer just so that it wouldn't melt, because anything like this, like the coconut oil is going to be liquid at room temperature, well, warmish room temperature.
That was the only bummer about them is I think they're great to send with kids to school, but they do just kind of puddle into a Ziploc bag, and my kids get a straw.
Even if you freeze it,
Yeah.
does it still break down?
They do for my kids.
Maybe if you put an ice pack in their lunch bag.
Maybe.
Yeah. My kid keeps asking for one of those. I'm like,
For an
suck it
ice
up,
pack?
dude. You don't need an ice pack in your lunch bag. Who do you think you are? Like,
My kid flings his lunchbox like this on a regular basis, and so things break, and I'm not.
it's like his crackers are now crumbs.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They're just making a breading for the rest of the
Usually,
our toppings.
I'm like, oh, I'm packing such a good lunch. Like, oh, I've got a vegetable, a fruit, and I'll give you I'll give you a few chips or something, and then it's like they only ate the good thing that I put in there, and it comes home, and I'm like throwing away the cucumbers, and I'm
Right?
like,
I make my kids eat them the next day. You don't need it. I'm sending it back to school with you.
I tried that and it came right back again, and I was
Yeah.
like, well, I don't blame you. That was pretty disgusting. I left that in there.
For after school snack. Whatever you don't finish in your lunch,
Yeah, that's a
that's
good
your
one,
snack after school.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you didn't eat your peppers? Okay, here you go.
Yeah.
I think we were going to do a whole nother video if you're
Yes.
interested. Kid
Getting off
lunches,
on a tangent.
obviously, there's a lot of experience in this group with packing kid lunches and all the options. So we will come back to that.
We will come back to that. Okay, so fat bombs. So
So the one we're making today is dairy-free, and I mean it's considered sugar-free, right?
yeah, this is
Has no artificial sweeteners, no
Zero
dairy, no
sugars.
gluten, no sugar. So super pure for your system. You're not in the camera anymore.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
you walked off.
I will say too that another recipe that we looked at, and I think a lot of them call for erythritol, which is an alcohol sweetener. I'm not a fan of all those artificial sweeteners. They can cause digestive upset. They can just kind of, I don't know. I think that anytime you eat something sweet, even if it's stevia or whatever, your brain is like sugar, and so insulin is like getting ready to get released, and then things come down the pipes, and it's like, oh, there was actually no sugar. But now you have low blood sugar because the insulin. I mean, I think that there's a weird thing that happens with that. So,
Well, and with almost all keto recipes, the sweet ones have either stevia or erythritol, and so working around that is a total challenge.
yeah. And so I just think limiting those things. And I don't know, have you seen people that get like just gut stuff from eating those or headaches? Those are the two
Not
most
headaches,
common
but
symptoms.
definitely, I mean, diarrhea.
Yeah, diarrhea from that. I know
Bloating.
a patient of mine was getting headaches from stevia.
Makes sense.
So yeah, just be aware of that. If you're going to do that, don't do it all the time, and then watch out for those symptoms.
Right.
Okay, so you want to go through the recipe?
Yes, so we are
Yvonne
going to
can
make
Anna.
we are going to make 15 of these. They go in the freezer when you're done, and from a portion control standpoint, I always encourage people to put them in the back of your freezer because they're way too easy to just grab and pop in your mouth. If you struggle with portion control, I'm not
So
pointing
if
at you, I was
you-
pointing at
if you
struggle with like me.
So if you're okay, I know ketos we're balancing macros, but is there too much fat? Could you get too much fat on
Sure.
a keto diet?
Sure.
Like, I mean, because of weight loss, or would it kick you out of ketosis?
It wouldn't kick you out of ketosis.
So it's just
But
like
I mean,
a
it comes
matter
down
of,
to
like-
portion control, right? So if you're like, well, I can have 6 of these a day because it's not going to affect my weight loss, like it will in the long run when you're not learning portion control.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to jump in. I wanted to say something else about too much fat, and if you have gallbladder issues,
yeah.
which I know I do, and so I know what my personal fat level is for the day. I can eat 1 avocado, and I can have like a serving of coconut oil, something along with like toppings of olive oil or something else on a salad. So, if you're getting too much fat and you're noticing like within about 20 minutes of a meal, you're feeling really nauseous, or you do actually vomit, or you just have a lot of like, oh, I feel bad, that can be a sign that you have gallbladder issues and that you should have someone evaluate them. The other really common thing that I see in my chiropractic practice, if that is the case and someone has undiagnosed gallbladder stuff, I'll ask about that. But then they often come in and complain that they have pain right here next to their right shoulder blade.
Yeah.
That is a referral point for the esophagus and the upper digestive tract. And so I'll come in and say, my mid back always is really tense and tight and sore in that spot. And, I could adjust that all day long, like week after week after week, which is not my treatment plan style. But if you're not addressing that underlying reason as to why that discomfort is referring there, it's just going to keep coming back.
Can you also get pain in your shoulder?
Yes, you can.
I get that.
Yeah, that's another gallbladder.
Terrifying too.
It's a gallbladder point. If we had a Chinese medicine person here, I'm sure they would have like 1,000 things to tell us about that. But yeah, it can be
behind
like,
your knee too is another point, but there's a lot. The other thing is if you don't have a gallbladder. A lot of people get those things taken out willy-nilly like they think it ain't no thing. So keto diet with no gallbladder, I would say you want to do that guided with somebody who can help you to make sure that you're digesting your fats and getting them broken down, because otherwise you're not assimilating your fats,
You
and
get sick. People get so sick.
Yeah, and so it can be done with the proper nutrition support and things like that to
Supplementation.
help break your fats down. So
Yeah.
first
So
ingredient,
for this recipe, we're gonna do 15 of these, and it's a half a cup of coconut oil, half a cup of almond butter, half a cup of cacao powder, and then a lovely sprinkle of some pink Himalayan salt. So we'll go ahead and melt
This melts, right?
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and melt that. Where does that?
So, and if you didn't have a microwave, another way that you could melt your coconut oil is to do it over a double boiler. You know, get a pot of hot water going, and then put your other pot over it so that it'll melt in there.
That sounds like a lot of dishes to me.
Yeah,
it's just hot water.
it's
right?
just hot water. You can, get it up to a boil.
You have to wash it when you're done.
Right, you can
Yeah,
dump it down the
it's
side.
actually more sanitary than when you started because you boiled water in it. So
Ooh, that's good. I feel like a little extra.
I got chunky almond butter because I like it chunky.
I didn't even know they made chunky almond butter. I always thought it was just creamy.
With new seasons.
This is a fancy tool.
Use the little
I know, I like it.
Oh my gosh. Is that like a pampered chef?
I think it was a Betty Crocker from
Betty
my mom.
Crocker.
And
I feel like it's
Christmas
actually
stocking.
Dollar Tree.
Hey, sometimes there are things that come from different places that suit the purpose that you have.
Right?
Alright. Cacao!
So I know you guys did a video about making things that you haven't made before.
Mm-hmm.
I made twice baked potatoes this weekend. I did not eat them, but I've never done that before.
Fun.
And they didn't ruin them, I guess. Oh, see, I'm terrible at this.
You're
okay.
fine.
All right.
That's what cooking is all about.
Right.
Is making a little bit of a mess.
Are you guys like careful measurers, or do you just scoop and get close?
I generally don't measure anything, but
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
the
if you're
first time.
baking is more important because it's
Yeah.
more of a chemical science experiment.
That's true,
And
yeah.
something like this.
So what are some other things that we could throw in here? Like we could do like raw coconut, right?
You could do raw coconut.
Could you do like actual nuts on there? I'm trying to think of
I
what
wouldn't.
else.
Nuts are, I mean, like when you're limiting your diet with keto, I think nuts can cause upset in your tummy. Although
How do you
guess
think
we-
that's different than a nut butter?
I don't. Now that we're saying that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I
would
totally
just-
agree that nuts actually contain a lot of phytic acid, which can mess
Mhm.
with digestion and prevent mineral absorption in high volumes. But it just goes back to everything kind of in moderation, I think.
So does this have any benefit other than just giving you the fat you need? Like, will it give you more energy? Will it,
Well,
because I know that some people are like, ooh, energy balls, and those are completely different than
Yes.
fat bombs, right?
those are purely carb based, and so
Got it.
this is. I mean, eating this if you're not doing a ketogenic diet is not going to give you energy, but this amount of fat in your body will help keep you in a ketogenic state. Which will
I
keep
do
you-
think though, if you're not in ketosis, anytime you eat something that's fat and protein, it will be throwing a log on that fire to help stabilize your energy throughout the day. So you're not going to be in fat burning ketosis so much, but I do think that this could provide
Sorry.
longer term energy, like a snack to fuel you for a little bit longer.
And would it keep you fuller?
Ideally, I mean, I've never had them, so
I think
I
it
don't
just
know, but
depends too, like where you are in your diet journey. Like for
Mhm.
you always do great with like portion control and like
Yeah.
fueling your body. For me, like I've struggled with that my whole life, and so I have to be really careful. Like this would not be a good snack for me.
because you would want more.
Well, because I would eat more. Not that
I would
mean,
totally walk through the kitchen and every time
But
I
I
go in
exactly.
the fridge
But I
and
think
pull
if
one
I
out.
put a couple of these, like brought them to work with me or something, instead of having like a different choice of like some crackers or something, that this would be a snack that like, oh, okay, then I'm not needing a snack for a
Sure.
lot longer.
Sure.
While she's doing that, we kind of wanted to talk about the exogenous ketone
Yes.
supplements also that are like all over social media and what that's all about. So if you're not in ketosis, you haven't eliminated carbohydrates from your diet or decreased them enough to put your body into the fat burning metabolism of ketosis, and you just take ketones from a pill, it's not going to put your body in ketosis, because if you're still eating carbs, a high level of carbs, your body still has carbs to burn, and so you're not burning fat, you're still burning those carbs.
You're just
But
ingesting that.
you're just eating the ketones, which
Yeah.
there are benefits to having ketones in your bloodstream other than the metabolic changes. And so that is helps with energy, mental clarity, and it can act a little bit to help decrease your appetite.
So do we want those in the fridge? Or no?
These are a lot.
They're pretty runny. They need to be in the freezer.
Okay. Well, did we put? Actually, they don't even taste good. If I'm being real. I'm like, maybe that's where the erythritol comes in.
They taste good.
You think they do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you have
Did
it.
you eat sugar this weekend?
No. You know what though? My husband bought home. He's like, oh, I brought you a present. Like one like macaroon that's like gluten-free, dairy-free. It's basically like coconut and sugar, you know? And I was like, oh, you're so sweet to think of me. I should probably eat this sugar. And I ate it. And immediately, like that night, like my skin is itching. And I'm like, why do I ever eat sugar? Sugar hates me.
Right?
Yeah.
It's funny how we do that even when we know the outcome.
Oh my gosh. We have to learn the lesson over and over and over again. I know. So we're going to put those in the freezer. We'll try them out here. We thought that we might be able to sample them, but they're a little bit too runny. So it looks like you do got to pop them in the freezer for however long it takes to get them frozen. The salty and sweet goes so good together. So putting a little of the Himalayan sea salt on that.
If you have the time, I bet doing that like half hour, an hour into the freezing
Burn
process.
calories. Yeah.
Like, but I'm like a half hour into it, I think it might
Oh.
do really good to like sink
set
in,
it.
but not sink all the way to the bottom.
Ooh, that's a really good idea. Yeah. Anything else that you want to add?
I think that there's a lot of products out there, like you were talking about with the exogenous ketones, like be careful, you know, do your research, know who you're working with. There's lots of companies that that sell these products and they're not done by health professionals. And so it's awesome that people get to sell these products that help people, but be sure that you know what you're looking
Right.
into.
And that's what we're here for. We kind of, there's a lot of people that, you know, they vet companies and things so that we know what are like the absorbability factors and the quality controls are all reported to healthcare providers so that we can say like this company, they've been vetted, they have great quality control. This company, you know, not absorbable or nobody really uses that. So use healthcare professionals like ourselves to help guide you with that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We can tell our next video next week and we look forward to seeing you then. Smash that subscribe button, as Isley says.
We need Isley.
Yes. Thank you.